Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial on LIONHEARTS CRUSADE. My name is Colton, the director and founder of Credenzio Studios and the LIONHEARTS Project. Today we're going to be talking about the very important economy system in LIONHEARTS. I know we have another tutorial video already on markets. If you want to know how markets work, please watch that. And if you haven't seen that yet, please watch that first. It's going to help you as far as on a more specific level, how do I actually involve myself with the economy? Markets is a great way that you can involve yourself in the economy. But if you want to know, man, how does all this economy stuff work? LIONHEARTS is a very unique player-driven economy. It's a free market economy, and it's player-driven. So it can be kind of confusing. The real world market is kind of confusing. We don't set prices as developers for market items. We don't inject gold into the game. How does all this balance, right? You're a new player, or maybe even an experienced player. You still don't know how it works? This is the tutorial for you, so stay tuned. We're going to start off by talking about the economy system at its more specific levels, so you can kind of get an idea of how it all works. On the screen here, you're going to see an image. It's a chart of our economy system. It basically describes the gold system and the silver system. At the time this video is released, silver is not a system, but I'm going to still explain it to you because it is a system we're going to implement. Now, let's start at the top. We're going to start with, the faction treasuries. This is really the bread and butter of our economy system. Of course, at the center is the individual player. That's you, that's me, it's whoever's playing the game. Faction treasury. This is where all the gold is stored in plurality. Most of the gold is in faction treasuries. Why is this, right? And the reason is very specific. You can see if you go to each faction, different ones have different, treasury amounts. Faction leaders can actually use these treasuries to raise their weekly wage. So if you join a faction, you get a weekly wage if you meet the contribution quota. Okay? Now, if you buy something in a faction's territory, for example, if I was to go to Crack the Chevalier, right? Say it's owned by the Hospitallers, I'd pay 10% on whatever I bought or sold in that area, and that would go right to the faction treasury. They set taxes in their territory. In Messina, however, the tax rate is set automatically to be higher than all the faction treasuries, and the money goes to the lowest power ranking factions, which basically balances the game. So for example, if you're a lower power ranking faction, you might have a higher treasury amount, meaning you can raise your weekly wage and recruit more people because they're like, oh, they pay more, which is a counterbalance in the game that allows factions to compete. Outside of that, the factions actually set their own tax rate. They set their own weekly wage. This is a way that they can compete with one another. If you're a tradesman, I don't want to trade in French territory. They have a 20% tax rate. I'm going to go over to assassin territory where they have 2% tax, right? But if you're trying to join a faction, I'm not going to join the assassins. Their weekly wage is only 50 gold. I'm going to go over to the French. Their weekly wage is 800, right? These are just decisions between players that are made based on what factions run by players, by the way. We're not setting this. This is a player-run system. Decide what their taxes and what their weekly wages will be. So it depends on each faction. Now, when I buy something in the market, that stuff's going to, obviously, a faction or whatever in that territory. So if you're a faction member and you're a nationalist, you're a loyalist, you're a faction, I don't want to support any of the factions. Trade in your areas. Don't trade in enemy territory. Now, how else can stuff come into the faction treasury? Okay, another way is by buying houses. Okay, so if you buy a house, you essentially are giving that money to the faction that owns the base that house is in. And then when you pay weekly rent, that goes to that faction's treasury. On top of that, we also have something called personal storage, which is a way you can store your materials. We have an inventory weight limit, right? And that means that people need to buy storage if they want to keep all their things, right? So if you're somebody that has a lot of materials, you want to store things, right? You can go to personal storage. The first thing about personal storage is that the first 500 pounds is free. After that, you have to pay gold. And it goes up exponentially. So actually over time, it's much more effective to move your stuff into a house because personal storage has a weight capacity that's a lot lower. It's good for new players. But moving it into a house, you'll actually spend less and you'll be able to store more essentially. And you'll be giving more to your faction. So if you're a loyalist, you want to buy a house in your territory. And that means when you lose that territory, guess what? Now you're paying taxes and rent on your house to your enemy. You want to recapture that territory. So it's kind of a cool little dynamic we have in our system. Now, the faction treasury can also be used to buy clan mercenaries. If I'm the faction leader, I say, okay, hey, I want to hire this mercenary clan, Sohei Descent, okay? I'm going to go and, okay, I'm going to see what they're, oh no, they're already hired. They're hired by the Ayyubid Sultanate. Okay, well, what if I want to hire Apollo's clan? Let's go look Apollo. All right. And I think it might be case sensitive here. Or just deciding not to show up. Or that clan just doesn't exist anymore, I guess. Either way, I can go to another clan and see, okay, how much are they offering for? Okay, they're not even offering a price. I just search around. Or maybe I know somebody that has a specific price they want to set, right? And then I can go and, you know, say, okay, their mercenary price is 1,000 for one day, but it's only one guy, probably not worth it. But if I'm the faction leader, I can hire them. That money will go directly out of my faction treasury into the pockets of this clan leader, who can then keep it for himself or disperse it among his men. It's really up to him. They don't have treasuries the way that factions do. It's just kind of a oligarchy of one, with the faction leader having access to a treasury, but he can't withdraw funds, right? The leader of France doesn't just get to deposit a bunch of gold from the treasury into his main account, but the clan leader does. So it's kind of a different dynamic, counterbalances to different systems. On top of that, it's like, okay, so if I want to make gold, somehow I have to get it out of the faction treasury into my pockets. You do that by winning a battle. Factions lose money when they win. When they lose a battle, they have to give money to the victors against them in certain circumstances. Another thing is they have to pay their soldiers. So this costs money, right? They're having money coming in and money coming out. It's a cyclical system. But what about new money? Where does the money come from in the first place? Well, you go into the inventory, you can click on the gold menu, and you can see we actually sell gold. We sell gold. You say, okay, wait a second. Is that pay to win? Well, it's not really pay to win technically, and we do it for a specific reason. And the specific reason is MMORPGs struggle with hyperinflation. Many times, hyperinflation has destroyed an MMORPG because they inject currency. They say, hey, go kill this bandit and you get 5 gold. But you can kill the bandit over and over again, and after you get really powerful, you're killing tons of bandits and you're getting spammed gold, and everybody has millions of gold in their account. And so as a new player, your small amount of gold doesn't mean anything. And in a player market, that simply just destroys the game's economy. So our gold is backed by Robux, and the prices are set in the gold menu. Now, but when you buy the gold, this isn't pay to win in a combat sense, because you can buy a heavy weapon. So I can go to the market and say, oh, I'm going to just skip all the work. I'm going to just go right to cast Damascus sword. And I'm just going to buy it. It's not even available, by the way, because they're super rare. But let's just say we'll go to a different... If I just want to get right to steel short sword, right? Or something. I mean, something's on sale here. Let's just say iron or bronze or something. Okay, let's just say I want to get a bronze greatsword. I'm sick of my arsenical one. I don't want to do all the work. Okay, I'm going to buy this bronze greatsword. I buy it, right? But if my greatsword experience is too low to wield that, right? I'm trash, so I only have level 3 200 swordsmanship. But if I buy an iron greatsword or a steel one like I have now, you can see the weapon's damage actually scales based on my experience. And you can't buy experience. So essentially, even though you're buying the weapon, you're only paying for durability. You're buying the gold, which allows us to, support the studio. It allows gold to be circulated and injected into the economy in a way that's stable, because our economy is backed by Robux, meaning almost every piece of gold in the game, with some exceptions when we've had to do some bailouts of the faction treasuries when we were first getting the system started, before everybody knew how to set tax rates properly and generate money for their factions. Well, before that, we did a couple developer injects and injected some gold. But most of the gold you see in the game has been bought. That means that the gold's not going to hyperinflate. You're just simply not going to see that. And that's because we don't inject gold based on a repeating game mechanic. If you want to earn gold, you have to do it very much like you would in a real life economy. You have to earn it. You can earn it through actually providing a service to the market. If your service is not valuable, let's say you're not selling good goods, you don't have them at a good price, or you're not offering services for your mercenary clan isn't very good, people won't buy it. You actually have to provide a service to the market. You have to provide something of value to get compensation. This is very much how, real world free market economies work, and it's something that we were really passionate about mimicking. We don't want to tell you guys how the economy should work. We're just setting up the parameters so you guys can set the prices and do all that other things. On top of that, you can also loot people. You can go to a battle or go to a PvP enabled zone. For example, outside of Messina here, outside this bridge, it's a looting enabled, PvP enabled zone. If I die out there, I'm going to drop some gold, right? And so you probably want to store some gold in your house, and you probably don't want to carry it all with you. But let's just say you're transferring some. You get jumped, you could drop a good amount of gold. It's a low percentage, and the percentage depends on how low your honor is and all those things. But if I want to just be a scumbag looter, I can do that too. Or, it's not necessarily scumbag if you're defending your territory. If you're just defending your territory, it's a great way to get loot. So you can earn gold that way. If I just attacked one of these guys, I'm not going to because I don't want my honor to get tanked. If I attack these guys, kill him, I would get his loot. Or for example, if I die, right, in a PvP enabled zone, loot will spawn around me. I think you actually have to be killed. I don't know if resetting does it, but loot will spawn around me out of my inventory, so I lose that loot. Also, killing NPCs. You don't even have to worry about being a griefer. You can go kill NPCs. You can go to a mini dungeon and kill an NPC. You can kill an NPC in a region and just collect. Sometimes they drop some good loot, but they won't drop gold. So on top of that, other things such as horses and other taxable items do circulate through the economy. But these are the basic ways to generate gold. Now, there's another system that we're introducing soon called silver. Silver is a system that allows new players to get access to better tier weapons quicker without devaluing our currency. It's called a soft currency. Silver is essentially something that is granted to players that allows us to inject it. Let's say if you kill a bandit, we can give you some silver, and it can be spent on exclusive low tier items. There's probably going to be another update on silver once it comes out. I don't want to say too much because it's not done yet and it might change, so I don't want to have to update this video in a month or two when the silver update comes out. However, I can say that our gold system is pretty fundamentally going to stay this way unless, we need to make some dramatic changes. But luckily, because it's a secure system, hyperinflation and things like that are going to be very uncommon. And because we're backed by, Robux, and we're not just injecting gold willy-nilly, your gold is secured. You earn that gold, its value is not going to plummet significantly over time. It's going to naturally inflate, like hopefully a real free market economy would over time in a slow manner. It's going to naturally inflate as player count increases, the more people buying gold, all those things. And if you're lazy and you have money and you want to support us, you can just buy gold anyway, which is a great way to get some gold to buy some items and have some fun. You're still going to need XP, but it's an awesome way to do it. So that's going to do it for our tutorial on how our economy system works. I hope that this was thorough enough for you. I hope you're not confused. If you are, maybe watch it back. And there might be some more supplementary material on the individual systems within our grander economy. But for now, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys using our economy system. Hope to see you around Messina trading at the market. Good luck. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that tutorial video for Lionhearts Crusade. If you did, please subscribe so you can get updated when more tutorial videos appear or other Lionhearts content. If you haven't already, please consider liking the video and donating to our Patreon. We are an independent indie dev game studio. We rely on patrons and support from people like you who play our game to really keep our company running. So please consider donating to our Patreon in the link below. Otherwise, guys, there's other tutorial videos in the playlist. Hope that you enjoyed this one, and please do feel free to check the other ones out.